Let's begin with some meditation as usual. So just sitting comfortably with your back straight. Beginning with bringing our awareness into our bodies. Doing a brief body scan to see where there's any tension. And then hooking any tension with your in-breath. And on the exhalation, allowing the muscles to relax. And then bringing your awareness to where your body is touching the floor or the chair. And just holding your attention there. And that body sensation being supported. And so once again, that consciousness or that awareness that's focused on the body sensation is a direct perceiver. It's non-conceptual. It's a body consciousness. Right, this is before labeling. Right, just being present with the mere sensation. That is a direct perceiver. The first moment in which you brought your attention to the sensation of the body, supported by the chair or the floor, is likely a prime or valid cognizer, a direct valid cognizer, which realizes its object through its own power. Whereas Notice the subsequent moments or subsequent cognizers, still realizing their object. The subsequent moments of direct perception, we'll say, is still incontrovertible and realizing its object. But it's realizing its object through the force of the previous or the first moment. Through the force of a previous new incontrovertible knower. So if we maintain our awareness of the body touching the floor or chair, all of those moments are subsequent cognizers. And they're directly perceiving subsequent cognizers. So they're both direct perceivers and they're subsequent cognizers, non-conceptual subsequent cognizers. Noticing that our direct perceivers tend to be largely subsequent cognizers. Realizing their object through the force of a previous realization. And then when we label, for instance, label this chair, label it floor, when we label it soft chair or hard chair, or if we label feeling supported, right? Those are all conceptual minds. And they're conceptual subsequent cognizers. Induced by direct perception. So if we label chair, that could be a conceptual subsequent cognizer that was induced by the body consciousness, sensing the chair. Also induced by previous eye consciousness, seeing the chair. So the conception, labeling the chair is likely to be a conceptual subsequent cognizer. Induced by a direct perception. However, then if we begin to exaggerate the qualities of the chair, particularly, if we begin holding, as soon as we begin holding the chair as being something really concrete and solid, unchanging, it turns into a wrong consciousness. Might be a consciousness apprehending the chair as permanent. Or consciousness apprehending the chair as being inherently existent, existing in and of itself from its own side. All of those conceptions are then become wrong consciousnesses and wrong conceptions, and no longer are subsequent cognizers realizing an object correctly. So in our daily existence, in our moment-to-moment experience, we alternate between these 7 different types of knowers, or 7 ways of knowing. Sometimes we have directly perceiving, realizing consciousnesses, incontrovertible consciousnesses. Sometimes we have direct valid cognizers. Sometimes we have subsequent cognizers, directly perceiving subsequent cognizers, as well as conceptual subsequent cognizers that are realizing their objects correctly and incontrovertibly. And sometimes, and in the very next moment, we can have a wrong consciousness. When we hold on to things as being concrete and real or unchanging, we easily slip into wrong consciousnesses, in and out of wrong consciousnesses. And those wrong consciousnesses are the basis of our mental afflictions, of all of our mental afflictions. and fundamentally the root of all of our suffering, the root of all of our samsara. And the key to ending our suffering, and ending our samsara, and attaining full awakening, attaining a stable, lasting happiness and well-being, is first identifying those wrong consciousnesses that we have in our own experience. And gradually eliminating those wrong conceptions. Through listening to teachings, reflecting on them, meditating on them. Moving from wrong consciousnesses to doubting consciousnesses. And then from doubting consciousnesses to correctly assuming consciousnesses. And then through further reflection and logic, we eventually develop inferential cognizers, realizing the correct view. And then through familiarizing oneself with those with subsequent cognizers, and then developing highly concentrated states of meditation. Eventually we attain a direct perception, a direct realization of impermanence, of the nature of samsara, and finally of emptiness. Thus beginning to remove our obscurations from the root and eventually attain complete enlightenment. We must begin by identifying the wrong conceptions within our own mind. By noticing how we exaggerate, by noticing how we hold things as being unchanging. And then gradually, by noticing how we hold on to things as being concrete. As inherently existent and real in and of itself from its own side. And noticing how that holding on to things as concrete underlies all of our mental afflictions, all of our mental agitation and unhappiness. Slowly, slowly. And gradually we overcome those misconceptions through logic and reasoning, through understanding their true nature. Also, we can learn to overcome those misconceptions through meditation. And particularly with emptiness, through looking for that concrete object or self, and ultimately not finding it. So this is the progression of developing, moving from wrong consciousnesses gradually to direct realizations, moving through these 5 different types of knowers, these 5 different ways of knowing, and moving from a mind controlled by samsara to ultimately a mind liberated from samsara. And liberated from the mental afflictions. Okay, and then try to revitalize your motivation, your bodhicitta motivation if possible, for the remainder of the class, for the remainder of the day. Okay,